Boop, 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 boop. This is the L2C Media Network, and live from the Tom O'Neill Broadcast Studios on the fourth floor of the beautiful Park Forest apartment complex somewhere in the city of Jackson, Michigan. The L2C Media Network is proud to present Steve Sporty Balls, the Sunday edition. Tonight, controversy again hits the Lions where it hurts. Plus, can't FanDuel Sports Network do anything right? Well, they're hoping to be saved before they go dark. Plus, the latest sports news, entertainment news, and anything else we can come up with. But right now, here he is, just back from enjoying a night of Jackbox games and what the dub. Here's our buddy, Steve, the Baxman Baxley. Hey, thank you very much, Harry. How you doing, everybody? Behind the Desilu Productions microphone, I am Steve, the Baxman Baxley, and right now, let's get to this big old day, folks. And wow, we got to hit this first. If you watched the Lions Steelers game on CBS, you missed what has to be one of the most controversial decisions the refs did. They screwed the Lions again. Anyway, Week 16 of the 2025 NFL season has provided instant classic after instant classic, and the Steelers' 29-24 road win at the Detroit Lions had the wildest ending of them all on Sunday evening. Now, the week began with the Seahawks erasing a 30-14 fourth quarter deficit to win 38-37 in overtime on their third consecutive two-point conversion of the Thursday night classic. But what happened at Ford Field in Detroit Sunday afternoon takes the cake for the craziest final play, and the reason for this is just stupid. Facing a 4th and goal from the 9-yard line with 8 seconds left on the clock, Lions quarterback Jared Goff dropped back to pass, and he connected with top target Amon-Ra St. Brown near the goal line, but St. Brown was clearly going to be tackled short of the end zone. That's when the all-pro wide receiver frantically whipped the football backward with the hopes of a teammate would recover the football and run in for the game-winning touchdown. Funny enough, Goff did just that, despite the Steelers' defense appearing to stop playing because it seemed like St. Brown was held up long enough for the play to be blown dead because of forward progress. But, there is a but, however, Goff's scoop and score off St. Brown's lateral was wiped away because St. Brown pushed off of Steelers All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey to make the initial catch at the start of the play. Head referee Carl Sheffers explained that because the penalty was on the offense, that Goff's touchdown was nullified by NFL rules. An offensive play penalty when time has expired does not trigger a replay of the previous play, so the Steelers walked away with a crucial late-season victory. Stupid is as stupid does. But this continues to have people asking, let's get some real, true refs and not some of these part-timers. Lions' playoff hopes are now slim to none, and Slim has just left the arena. As a result of their last-second loss, Detroit now needs Green Bay Packers, the current owner of the NFC's 7th and final playoff spot, to lose their last 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens at 7-7 and the Minnesota Vikings at 7-8. And the Lions also need to win their last 2 games at the Vikings on Christmas Day on Netflix, and only on Netflix, and the NFC North leading Chicago Bears 11-4. So, oh boy. Well, we all knew it had to happen sometime. Lions, once again, the second time they got screwed by the refs. Second time. Anyway, we'll tackle that in but a majorative momentation. Actually, we'll probably talk about it on Monday. I know there's some Detroit-based sports outlet, 97.1 The Ticket's going to be talking about it for a long stank of time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just too weird. Anyway, we'll keep you updated on things. Let's keep going. And now it's time for the Sunday, aka, yeah, it's still Sunday for at least a few minutes, 20 minutes, edition of the Biggie. It's called the Major League Baseball Hot Stove League Report, and we got some big uns for you. In fact, we're going to talk about the main biggie. And then we'll get on with Michigan's next problem. And, wow. Okay. Whoa, teleprompter. Get back up there. For the second time in a matter of weeks, the Boston Red Sox and St. Louis Cardinals have agreed to a trade involving a three-time All-Star honoree. First was right-hander Sonny Gray, and now on Sunday night, the Red Sox are adding first baseman Wilson Contreras in a four-player swap. As is tradition, whenever a notable trade happens, we must do instant analysis. So let's do it, true it. But first of all, let's tell you what everyone gets. Red Sox receive Wilson Contreras and $8 million. Cardinals receive right-handed pitcher Hunter Dobbins, right-handed pitcher Joaquin Farado, and Blake Alta. Now, who got the best deal? Red Sox grade A. The 33-year-old Contreras hit 257, 344, 445, 20 home runs in his maiden voyage as a first baseman. He continues to possess explosive bat speed, and for the first time in his career, he lifted and pulled more than 19% of his balls in play. That had to hurt. Anyway, expect his raw stats to look significantly better if that sticks in 2026, whereas Busch Stadium plays as neutral or worse for right-handed hitters. Fenway Park, for want of a better descriptione, let's close up the ad for Sephora. Close up the ad for Sephora. Close it up because I got to read this. I got to read the prompt. Thank you. He continues to possess explosive bat speed, and for the first time in career, well, I've already said this.
It's about a guy who lives in a Capital One cafe close by. There's no fees or minimum. So
nope. Can we not so that? Thank you. Thank you. I don't think we needed to do that, but hey, if we get demonetized, we get demonetized. Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last. Anyway, leave us to continue. Expect his raw stats to look significantly better if that sticks in 2026, whereas Busch Stadium plays as neutral or worse for right-handed hitters. Fenway Park happens to be one of the top destinations for a righty looking to pad his numbers. Generally, bat speed is one of the main concerns for right-handed first basemen aging into their mid-30s. That variable not only impacts their slugging capacity, but also their ability to keep their strikeout rate in check. While Contreras swings and misses and punches out his fair share, it should be encouraging that he improved both his in zone and overall contact rates in 2025, and did so with only a slight reduction in his swing rate. Anything and everything that can happen in this sport. Still, Contreras looks like he ought to be good for another above average showing or two. Now his contract calls for him to be paid $18 million next season, $18.5 million in 27, and an adjusted $7.5 million buyout on a club option for 2028 per The Athletic. He'll also net $1 million here for agreeing to waive his no trade clause. Minus what the Cardinals are sending over, the Red Sox will be responsible for $36 million over the next 2+ seasons. That'll push Red Sox closer to the first tax line, but there's no excuse for them to stay under. Not when they have a playoff caliber roster in place that should be in contention for the American League pennant. Plus, put another way, they're paying Contreras almost the exact same terms the White Sox will play Munetaka Murakami, the latter being younger but arguably much riskier. It's also much less than the Baltimore Orioles are paying Pete Alonso, who shares some of the same general concerns as Contreras. It's to be seen how the Red Sox will fill out, and hello, Matt, Ed, and Eddie, the rest of their infield. You figure Trevor Story will be back at shortstop, but otherwise, Boston has Marcelo Mayer, Cedane Rafaela, Christian Campbell, and David Hamilton on hand. They also have reported interest in retaining free agent third baseman Alex Bregman. And that's without taking incumbent first baseman Tristan Casas into account. In other words, the Red Sox still have a lot of sorting out to do between now and opening day of next season, 26. If nothing else, the Red Sox were able to net an above-average stick on a short, cheap agreement, but what the hell. For more of their pitching surplus without touching anyone, they're likely to miss in 26, Peyton Toll or Connolly Early, or compromising other pursuits. This, then, seems like another fine swap both ways. For the Cardinals, got to give them a grade A, of course. If nothing else, you have to credit the Cardinals for paying down Contreras' salary to get a better return. They did the same in the grade A's, a move that also received an A grade. In total, the Cardinals will have spent $28 million to ensure that the Red Sox could take both players on. Expect St. Louis to throw around more coin to facilitate a potential Nolan Ariando trade. Late in the winter, 26-year-old Dobbins appeared 13 times and compiled a .413 ERA and a .265 strikeout-to-walk ratio before tearing his ACL in July. He's a supplementor who threw 5 pitches at least 9% of the time last season, including 3 different breaking balls, a shorter slider, longer sweeper, and a curveball that generated his highest whiff rate. Dobbins' mid-90 fastball featured far more cutting action than expected, though the pitch quality algorithms consider it to be a below-average offering anyway. It's hard to argue based on results, seeing as how opponents hit .316 and slugged .453 versus it. Now, when Dobbins returns to the fold, he can figure into the back of the Cardinals, yes, friends, back of the Cardinals, thank you, rotation. Remember, St. Louis has already added 2 other prospective starters this winter, free agent signing Dustin May and right-hander Richard Fitz, who came over as part of the aforementioned Gray trade. The 19-year-old Fajardo was acquired last winter from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for lefty Cam Boozer. He's tall, He's a tall right-hander who spent most of last season in Carolina leagues, tallying a 2.98 ERA and a 2.95 strikeout-to-walk ratio. Fajardo is predictably, given his youth, a work in progress. His arsenal includes a pair of fastballs that can get into the mid to upper 90s, as well as a quality breaking ball. He's thrown strikes and coerced a high note of ground balls thus far, and there's a clear pathway for him to becoming a big league starter in due time. Stay tuned, as they always say. The 22-year-old Aita was a sixth-round pick in the 2024 draft. He made 23 appearances across low and high A, scoring a 3.98 ERA and a 3.30 strikeout-to-walk ratio. Aita, it features a flatter plane to the plate and a tremendous feel for spin that manifests in, among other pitches, a quality slider. He's a candidate to take a step forward with the right player development support, making him another possible big league contributor, maybe even in a starting role if everything goes well. Now, it's not the flashiest set of names, but top executive Chaim Bloom has successfully added three interesting arms who could log starts and or innings over the years to come. Now, that's a nice piece of business, considering how most front offices these days tend to regard the value of non-elite right first basemen in their mid-30s. We shall soon see, shouldn't we? Yay. Yay, verily. Okay, let's keep going because we're going until about maybe 12:25. Okay, let's give you an update on the order of the 26 NFL draft after week 16. Let's do it from the bottom up, boys. Here we go. Number 32, the Seattle Seahawks. 31, the Denver Broncos. 29, Chicago Bears. 28, the LA Rams. 27, Cleveland Browns via the Jacksonville Jaguars. 26, the LA Chargers. 25, San Francisco 49ers. 24, Buffalo Bills. 23, Houston Texans. 22, the Philadelphia Eagles. 21, Dallas Cowboys via the Green Bay Packers. Number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 19, the Carolina Panthers. New York Jets, 18 pick, first round via Indianapolis Colts. Detroit Lions at number 17. Number 16, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 15, the Minnesota Vikings. Number 14, the Baltimore Ravens. 13, Dallas Cowboys. 12, Kansas City Chiefs. 11, the Rams of Los Angeles via the Atlanta Falcons. How about the top 10 now? The top 10 as we await things to return. Okay, we got to go to the top 10, and we're still here. Yay. Number 10, by the by, is we missed number 10. We got to get back to the 10 spot, okay? Burp. Excuse me. Okay, number 10 is the Miami Dolphins. Let's see. Number 10, Miami Dolphins. 9, Cincinnati Bengals. 8, New Orleans Saints. 7, the Washington Commanders. And teleprompter goes wild again. Sorry. Okay, come on. Come on, it's 11:53, and we got scoreboards and media news to do, and more problems for the Michigan Wolverines. Oh boy. Okay, thank you, boys. Thank you. We got it. We got it worked out. Let's see. Okay. Cincinnati Bengals. 7th, the Washington Commanders. 6th, the Arizona Cardinals. Fifth, we want fifth. Tennessee Titans, New York Jets 4th, Cleveland Browns 3rd. Cleveland Browns 3rd. Who got 2nd? The second pick in the first round will go to the Las Vegas Raiders, with the first round pick going to the New York Jets. New York Jets will get New York Giants, will get that first round pick. Okay, we're going to have more sports news in a bit of a moment, but right now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, time on our side. It is time for us to give you the Monday night. It's time for us to get our scoreboard done so we can get more news done and get you some entertainment reports before we say our good nights. Okay. As we are about 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. Trying our best, but it looks like we're going to have to use this. Bum, 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 bum. Okay.
Ready to go. Would you like me to use that rhythm for a song, a poem, or something else?
Okay. Let's get to okay, we're getting to CBS Sports. Yay. Because we got more news to do, but before we do that, we Mansour. Excuse me. Okay. Let's get to it. And here we go. In the NBA G League, Maine Celtics beat the Austin Spurs 123-114. Raptors 905 defeated the Grand Rapids Gold 103-101. San Diego Clippers over the they lost. Let's try again. Greensboro Swarm Over the San Diego Clippers, 127 to 117. Salt Lake City Stars over the Stockton Kings, 127 to 123. Santa Cruz Warriors, 108. Noblesville Boom, 100. South Bay Lakers, 131. Wisconsin Herd, 119. Birmingham Squadron over the Valley Suns, 125, 121. Texas Legends lose to the Delaware Blue Coats 120 to 112 in the American Hockey League in overtime. Charlotte over Springfield 4 to 3. Belleville over Toronto 8 to 4. Manitoba over Rockford 4 to 1. Wilkes-Barre Scranton over Hershey 3 to 1. Calgary over San Diego 2 to 1. Grand Rapids over Cleveland 5-0. In overtime, the Colorado Eagles over the Henderson Silver Knights 3-2. And San Jose 6, Ontario 3. In the ECHL, the Adirondack Thunder over the Norfolk Admirals 7-3. Florida Everblades over the Savannah Ghost Pirates 3-2. Orlando Solar Bears, easy for me to say, over the South Carolina Stingrays by a score of 4-0. Atlanta Gladiators over the Greenville Swamp Rabbits 3-1. The Utah Grizzly over the Tulsa Otters 7-4. Kansas City, Kansas City, here you won. That's right, the Mavericks defeated the Allen Americans 6-2 in the SPHL. Pensacola beat Macon 5-4 in the Professional Women's Hockey League. Toronto over New York 4-3, Ottawa over Minnesota 3-2, in Boston over Seattle 3-1. In the Major Arena Soccer League, Kansas City over St. Louis 3-2. Indeed. It was a fun way of doing this. So here we go, face to face, talking about it, shouting about it. Let's take you now to our soccer scoreboard. And here we go, the soccer scoreboard for yesterday. The Premier League, Aston Villa over Manchester United 2-1. La Liga Español, Atletico Madrid over Girona 3-0. Barcelona over Villarreal 2-0. Elche over Rayo Vallecano 4-0. And Real Betis over Getafe 4-0. In Das Bundesliga, Manson St. Pauli tied at 0. Bayern Munich over Heidenheim 4-0. In Series A, Italia, Pisa and Cagliari tied at 2. Torino over Sassuolo 1-0. Fiorentina over Udinese 5-1. Atalanta over Genoa 1-0. Okay. Excuse me, folks. Time for me to hit the sack. But we are looking for some easier scores. If there's any soccer here in the States, which there is, but I have a feeling the main cogs are out of season. So, okay, I think we can end the live score right there. And go straight to CBS Sports. Okay. All right. In Sunday Night Football, the Patriots rally past the Ravens to clinch a playoff berth 28-24. Oh boy. Okay. Let's get a talk about what happened. Yet another black mark on Michigan. And this one could put more pressure on the NCAA to punish the Wolverines more than they did the Spartans. 8 months after federal investigators seized thousands of photos and videos as part of an investigation into former Michigan co-offensive coordinator Matt Weiss, an FBI search warrant affidavit filed in federal court details security footage that captured the ex-assistant coach before he allegedly hacked into a student's personal accounts to obtain explicit photos, according to The Athletic. The Athletic obtained a filing in Detroit on Friday, which enclosed a dozen pictures that were allegedly stolen during hacking attempts by Weiss in December of 22. Weiss, who previously worked under Jim Harbaugh of Michigan, was indicted in March for allegedly hacking into the private accounts of students and athletes around the country to steal intimate photographs. Investigators determined Weiss accessed private student files from computers inside Michigan's football facility within Schembechler Hall, the Detroit News reported. The indictment indicated that Weiss downloaded the information of more than 150,000 athletes and used it to hack into the social media, email, and cloud storage accounts of more than 2,000 primarily female college athletes. His alleged crimes date back to at least 2015. Now, at the time of his indictment, Weiss faced 24 federal counts, 14 counts of unauthorized access to computers, and 10 counts of aggravated identity theft. He pled not guilty to all of them. At least a portion of the alleged crimes occurred over a 72-hour stretch within Michigan's football facility as the Wolverines prepared for their 2022 college football playoff game against TCU. Michigan suspended Weiss in January of 23 when campus police launched their initial investigation, citing only computer crimes. Now, prior to his termination in early 23, Weiss worked for the Baltimore Ravens from 2009 to 2020 before leaving to join Harbaugh as Michigan's quarterback coach. He later received promotion to co-offensive coordinator and served alongside then Michigan assistant Sharon Moore. Wow. That's about all I can say about all this. Wow. During the Steelers-Lions game at Ford Field on CBS, Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf has put himself at risk of being suspended by the NFL. At the very least, his pockets certainly will be a bit lighter. Now, during the first half of the Steelers' Week 16 matchup against the Detroit Lions, Metcalf was seen interacting with a fan in the stands. He then threw a closed fist at the fan's face before walking away. CBS Rules analyst Gene Steratore explained that because this interaction took place off the field and was not seen by officials, it could not be analyzed. Quote, because the officials did not see this and you wouldn't expect them to from where DK Metcalf was, it's not surprising, actually, and it's not something they can weigh into from an officiating standpoint. Sarator was notified, though, that will be delivered to compliance with the NFL and they'll address it at that point. The Free Press tracked down the fan in the stands and asked them what they said to Metcalf and what their name was. The fan said, quote, "What? My full name isn't Decalen Zacharias Metcalf. He doesn't like his government name. I called him that, and he grabbed me and ripped my shirt. I'm a little shocked, like everyone's talking to me, and I'm a little rattled, but I just want the Lions to win, baby." End quote. The fan was purportedly ejected from Ford Field after the incident. Metcalf is in his first season with the Steelers after being acquired via trade from the Seattle Seahawks in March. He is Pittsburgh's leading receiver with 55 catches for 808 yards and 6 touchdowns. And it would be a massive loss for Aaron Rodgers and company if Metcalf were to be suspended for his actions. The Steelers visit the 3-12 Browns next Sunday. The 8-6 Steelers find themselves in a heated AFC North battle with the 7-7 Baltimore Ravens, who lost to the New England Patriots this evening. The Steelers and Ravens face off in the regular season finale in week 18, which could be for the AFC North crown and a spot in the playoffs. Playoffs? Who knew? Okay, it's 10 minutes past midnight. Okay, in another little news. We've already done that report. Can we move on, please? Thank you. All right, we got some more news. Cleveland Browns rookie running back Quinshawn Judkins was carted off the field shortly before halftime of the team's eventual 23-20 loss to the Buffalo Bills after suffering a serious right leg injury. Kevin Stefanski told reporters that Judkins fractured his fibula and dislocated his ankle per ESPN. His first NFL season sadly ends. Judkins suffered his injury while attempting to make a catch in the backfield. When Bills linebacker Matt Milano hit him low, the CBS broadcast team elected not to air the replay of the injury. The number 36 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft out of Ohio State had rushed 8 times for 22 yards and caught 5 passes for a game-high 29 yards before exiting the game. Judkins was Cleveland's leading rusher this season, having rushed for 805 yards and 7 touchdowns in 13 games played entering Sunday. Raheem Sanders and Travion Williams replaced Judkins at running back and were effective for Shadur Sanders. Raheem rushed for 42 yards on 11 carries, while Williams rushed 3 times for 17 yards and led all receivers with 4 catches for 38 yards. That is amazing. And that's enough of that little report. Okay, we're at the 39-minute mark. It is 12 minutes past 12 o'clock. Now, as was a reminder, and now we can give you a full report on the Hot Stove League. Let's get to the reportage. Okay. Come on, there's gotta be. Oh. Okay. I think we got all that. Yeah. Japanese slugger Murakami landed with the White Sox in a $34 million deal. Browns running back. Oh, we already did that report. What else we got? Okay, so okay, we're at 12:14. You want to do the scoreboard, and we can divvy up the rest of the happening and get it all completely done words. Okay. And oh, bless. Okay. Let's get to the NBA and get to the scores, and then we'll go to the NHL and get to the scores, and then both women's and college basketball. So here we go. The fourth quarter, 4:35 remaining. Houston leads Sacramento, 107-103. Final scores: Chicago over Atlanta, 152-150. New York, the Knicks over the Miami Heat, 132-125. Brooklyn over Toronto, 96-81. Minnesota over Milwaukee, 103-100. And San Antonio over Washington, 124-113. And that is indeed a wrap. That puts a wrap. That puts a wrap on that, kids. So here we go. Alrighty. Excuse me, everybody. Let's get back and finish up so I can get some sleep. Yahoo. Okay, let's take you now to the NBA and some scores. Didn't we do the NBA? I think so. No. Okay, 3:47 left to play in the fourth. It's Houston 108, Sacramento 105. Chicago beat Atlanta 152-150. New York beat Miami 132-125. Brooklyn defeated Toronto 96-81. Minnesota over Milwaukee 103-100. And Washington. Anyway, that is the latest NBA. Let's get you all ready for the NHL. Give you all the scores that took place. Thank you very much. Final in overtime, Detroit beat Washington 3-2. Colorado beat Minnesota 5-1. Buffalo beat New Jersey 3-1. In a shootout, it was Pittsburgh 4, Montreal 3, Nashville 2, New York Rangers 1, Ottawa 6, Boston 2, Dallas 5, Toronto 1. In overtime, Utah over the Winnipeg Jets 4-3. And Edmonton over Vegas Golden Knights 4-3. That only means one thing. We're at the 45-minute mark. So, oh, God. Okay. Let's get over to CBS Sports. And let's get to college basketball then. Here are the scores from college basketball for today. Charleston beat North Kentucky 85-74. Winthrop over Clinton 107-41. Twenty-third ranked Florida over Colgate 90-60. Boston University over the University of Massachusetts Lowell. Okay. Boston U over UMass Lowell 88-76. Pittsburgh over Penn State 80-46. Mount St. Mary a 43-42 beatdown on Penn State Brandywine. Navy over Rosemont 70-23. Monmouth over Lehigh 76-62. North Carolina State over Ole Miss 76-62. Hofstra over Quinnipiac lost to Hofstra 74-66. Baylor over Southern U 111-67. Marist over Stony Brook 70-51. For Van Wake. No, try it again. Vanderbilt over Wake Forest 98-67. Seldom if. Okay, let's see. Where do we leave off at? Let's see. North Carolina State beat Ole Miss 76-62. Hofstra over Quinnipiac 74-66. Baylor over Southern U 111-67. Marist over Stony Brook 70-51. Okay, gave the Baylor score. Okay. Marist over Stony Brook 70-51. Baylor 111. Southern U 67. Vanderbilt over Wake Forest 98-67. SMU over Central Arkansas 99-82. Furman. Okay. We'll do it again. Vanderbilt over Wake Forest 98-67. SMU over Central Arkansas 99-82. Furman over Charleston Southern 84-76. Oklahoma over at the CS Fullerton Oklahoma State 94-89. Cal State Fullerton, yeah. Middle Tennessee over Cumberland Drive, 74-58. Stephen F. Austin beat Dallas 103-55. Delaware over the Holy Family, 73-61. Charlotte over UIC in overtime, 88-76. PFW over Notre Dame, 72-69. Alabama over Kennesaw State, 92-81. George Mason over Loyola Marymount or Loyola Maryland, 86-79. Drexel over Maine, 74-56. Murray State over Valparaiso, 85-70. And that should really, Manhattan over Presbyterian, 87-81. Bradley over South Illinois, 73-69. UNCG over Victoria Litchford, 54. Anyway. Bradley over Southern Illinois, 73-69. UNCG, a 131-53 winner over Virginia Lincolnburg. Anyway, let's continue on here. UNCG 131, Virginia Lynchburg 53. Redford over VMI 97-90. Chattanooga over Alabama A&M 73-66. Clemson over Cincinnati 68-65. Cornell over University of Albany 83-75. Tennessee over Gardner-Webb 94-52. Incarnate Word had a lot of words tonight. They scored 90 points over Northern Arizona's 66. UAB and UNC Ashford. UAB beat UNC Asheville 72-45. St. Louis over New Hampshire. They are relatively peaky. Okay, so Oregon State beat Arizona State 78-75. South Florida over UMBC 94-69. California Santa Cruz 63. USC 102. Drake over Evansville by 1, 66-65. TCU done in Florida A&M once before, but gave you a collective salute. TCU over Florida A&M 80-56. Michigan over LaSalle 102-50. And all righty. Okay, UConn over DePaul, Miami over North Florida, 105-67, and 72-54. California over Columbia, 74-56. Wichita State over Eastern Kentucky, 88-57. Illinois State over Indiana State, 85-65. Milwaukee over Cleveland State, 81-71. Illinois State beat Indiana State 85-65. Milwaukee over Cleveland State 81-71. Minnesota over Campbell 78-50. Gonzaga over Oregon 91-82. Iowa State over Long Beach 91-60. San Fran over Morgan State 94-63. UC Davis, we see a score 93-83 over Idaho State. And the final with overtime, Idaho 83, Cal Poly 80. We now go to Minnesota over Campbell 78-50. George on occasion. You have been known to pop a bit off and to see if somebody will ram into the blop of Gordon Refuge. Gonzaga over Oregon 91-82. Iowa State over Long Beach State University 91-60. San Fran over Morgan State 94-64. UC Davis beat Iowa State 93-83. Idaho pulls off another upset 83-80 was the final score. Now, thank you to our scoreboard folks at the LA Times. Not bad, 95-82. The score. Pacific leads Nichols. UC Irvine 74, North Dakota State 73. UC Davis beat Iowa State 93-83, and then in overtime, they got it done. Idaho 83-80, Cal Poly. Pacific 95-82 over Nichols State. UC Irvine and North Dakota State 74-73. Nice, wild, humongous sigh of possibly giving some more revolts. Anyway, we got North Dakota losing to Nebraska 78-55. Norfolk State and UTEP 72-71. Brown versus USC and Austin Peay versus Kansas City were all canceled due to weather. Now, let's get you back to where we belong, and then we're going to have to hit the old Sakaruski. Okay, here we go. And everything else will have to wait till Monday. Cleveland State beat Puerto Rico Mayagüez 81-45. Eastern Tennessee State over Charlotte again. It is only the eyes of the beholder, not the being seen. Nebraska beat Cal Baptist 87-56. Northern Carolina over Charleston Southern 93-74. Georgia over Coppin State 82-55. Grand Rapids, Detroit, Delaware State 59-46. Detroit University of Albany over Hofstra 52-43. Wisconsin over IUI 81-72. North Carolina State over Davidson 68-59. Michigan over Oakland 97-54. Virginia Tech over Radford 79-47. St. Peter's Niagara over St. Peter's 81-72. Okay, Purdue over Jackson State 93-62. Miami of Florida over Kennesaw State 85-55. Akron over Lemoyne 94-68. Maine over Hartford by 2 59-57. Okay. Virginia Tech over Radford 79-47. St. Peter's over Niagara 81-72. American over UMBC 65-61. East Carolina an 81-59 winner over Campbell. Dayton beat Evansville 75-66. Bryant over Franklin Pierce 72-45. Morgan State and Loyola are picking over the scraps anyway. Loyola, Maryland beat Morgantown State 65-58. Missouri over North Alabama 84-57. South Florida over Navy 86-74. Elon over Norfolk State 58-41. George Washington over Northwestern 75-62. Duquesne 84. Pittsburgh 69. Bada boom. Texas A&M over Prairie View 93-60. Fordham over St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Fordham over San Fran, PA. Prairie View. Okay. 86-61 Fordham. Canisius lost to Siena 73-56. Indiana, West Carolina 71-44. West Virginia over Houston 101-46. Jack State over Presbyterian 74-39. Lamar beat Northwestern State with one of their good games, beat Lamar 60-57. Lindenwood over Eastern Illinois 87-55. And West Virginia over Houston 101-46. Jacksonville State over Presbyterian 74-39. Northwestern State over Lamar 60-57. Lindenwood over East Illinois 87-55. Holy Cross over UMass Lowell 78-56. Fairfield over Merrimack 84-65. Longwood over UNCW 98-72. Oklahoma State 98. Cincinnati 63. Sacred Heart over Riders 61-59. Texas over South Dakota State 70-51. UT Arlington lost to LSU 110-45. Clemson over North Florida 84-62. West Georgia over Florida A&M 72-57. St. Joseph over Delaware 73-66. Bradley over Northern Kentucky 62-61. In overtime, Mercer by 3 over Tulane 70-67. Richmond over Penn State 70-54. Tulsa over Florida 74-67. Mount St. Mary over Iona 65-55. Minnesota over Drake 68-43. Northern Iowa over St. Thomas, Minnesota 58-40. Santa Clara over Northern Texas 84-72. Alabama over Troy 77-59. Weber State over Omaha 74-61. Texas Tech over Baylor by 1, 61-60. Washington over the Pacific 90-50. Gonzaga over UC Riverside 68-62. Michigan State over Indiana State 115-66. Portland over Portland State 98-53. Quinnipiac over Marist 76-67. San Jose over Sacramento State 61-56. SMU over Southern University 74-62. LMU over Southern Utah 76-68. Stanford over Oregon 64-53. Notre Dame over Bellarmine 110-38. Arizona State over Colorado 79-63. Old Miss over Old Dominion, the Battle of the Old 86-57. USC over California 61-57. And Monmouth and Brown and the Virgin Islands over Arkansas Pine Bluff. They were all canceled, each and every one. Now, we're going to take the last few minutes of our broadcast to complete our little duty, ladies and gentlemen. That is, we just got a last report to give you. There's nothing else is going on in the entertainment world, at least tonight. Let's give you one more thing to go on here. And here we go, because we're getting tired. Okay, well, it happened once before. It's about to happen again, but this time more permanently. What is it? Well, the parent company of the FanDuel Sports Network, FanDuel Sports Networks will reportedly shutter, turn to hash, and go bye-bye unless the sale to DAZN, a cable and streaming network, closes. The deal closes with goodness. Main Street Sports Group, the owner of the FanDuel branded regional sports network, Main Street, let's try that again. It's been a long day. Main Street Diamond Sports Group, the owner of what used to be called Bally's Sports Network, or Bally Sports Net, now known as FanDuel Network, is reportedly on its deathbed, and the priest is giving last rites. According to a report by Tom Friend in Sports Business Journal, the FanDuel Sports Networks are at a serious risk of dissolving unless a previously reported sale to sports streaming platform, the London, England-based and headquartered DAZN, closes by the new year, January to be exact. The news comes as Main Street missed a December rights payment to the St. Louis Cardinals. The company's 29 combined franchises between the NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball are similarly at risk of missing rights payments in the coming months. And that could be the death knell right there. Let's get to the crux of the story if we can. Okay, let's keep going. Per Mr. Friend, if the DAZN purchase does not close, Main Street will wind down and dissolve the FanDuel Sports Networks at the end of this year's NBA and NHL regular seasons. Though the NBA is seemingly preparing for a scenario in which the company could fold in the middle of this season. Should that occur, the National Basketball Association will step in and utilize its League Pass platform for the 13 teams currently airing on FanDuel Sports Network. In this scenario, teams would need to scramble to ink linear distribution deals with local over-the-air affiliates in order to remain on traditional television platforms. One NBA team executive called that scenario our worst fear, per Sports Business Journal. Main Street Sports Group, of course, is the successor to the bankrupt formerly owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, Diamond Sports Group. And we are once again trying to get everything done so we can, hit the bullseye on everything else. We have no other entertainment news for you for now. Main Street Sports Group, of course, is the successor to Sinclair Broadcasting's Diamond Sports Group, the company that emerged from a lengthy Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and we are officially stuck. So we are going to go this way. And see if we can't give it to you this way.